Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video I'm going to give you my opinion on what is good and bad in the Soulforge this week. I'll be taking a look at the Mythic troops, the Legendaries, and for the first time the Summoning Stone troops as well, for the benefit of newer players. Point out the ones which are maybe worth a roll of the dice, see if the gamble pays off and you get the ones you're after. Also I'll be looking at the weapons obviously, but anyway, two muffins were sitting inside the oven and one turned to the other and said, "Wow, it's pretty hot in here." The other one shouted, "Wow, a talking muffin." Okay. Right, onto the shop. First thing you should always do is grab the weekly event troop. This one is Stone Zombie. You've got all week to get this if you don't have the glory straight away. But for 300 glory, you get a new troop which you can ascend to Mythic if you have enough glory to get enough copies. And that's always worth doing because when you've got this thing powered up completely, you've got another troop at level 20 which is eventually going to benefit your power levels on your kingdoms. So let's take a look at what it does. It's an undead construct from Helcrag using blue and brown. Converts 4 stone blocks to either good or evil gargoyle gems, then explode a gem. Traits: gain 1 life for each brown ally, immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy and deathmark, and reduce damage from skulls by 50%. So an okay set of traits, I suppose. Being immune to deathmark is particularly useful, and lycanthropy, that's quite annoying. And obviously the damage reduction from skulls is useful. But the spell itself is not that great. First of all, you need stone blocks to be apparent to actually make any use of this spell at all, so it's only good in certain situations or with certain other troops on your team. So quite limited on its usability. And then even when it does have that in place and then explode a gem, you may not, because when you're exploding 1 gem, you may not actually take out any of those gargoyle gems at all, which is what you need to do really. And you then hand the turn back to the opposition, and if they have an exploded troop on their team, they can actually benefit from those good or evil gargoyle gems which you created. So not perfect, not great at all really. Very, very situational. And the spell is almost it's not useless, it's not almost useless, but it can work against it. You're relying on that exploding a gem to actually destroy some of those good or evil gems, and if they don't, you could give them to your opposition. You may as well have cast that for the opposition. So for that reason, Stone Zombie, you're a bit crap, mate. 3 out of 10. Right, let's go across to here, because you should always grab Spools of Water if you can, if you have enough excess glory. This is available up to 10. You can get 10 a week max, and always handy just for the event keys on its own. Extra souls, extra gold. What's not to like there? Now onto the Soulforge itself. Let's see what's in there. We'll start with the weapons. I'm not going to go over all these ones which are here all the time. These are in previous Soulforge videos. Same as the Cursebreaker ones. I did a whole video on them alone. Is this it? Just one Aegis of Helcrag. But it's not a bad one. This is basically an anti-Helcrag troops weapon, basically. It removes all brown gems. Brown gems are the ones which Helcrag troops covet the most, and they need the most, so it takes them away. And it doesn't use brown itself, it uses red. And then the damage that you do is magic based, but is boosted by the fact that if the enemy is from Helcrag or the battle is in Helcrag, you deal a double damage, which is why it's particularly good, especially if you're a newer player against Helcrag troops like Charles O'Donnell, Zernabog, that kind of thing. Those really annoying troops, you get double damage and take away the colour they like the most. So can be good. If you haven't got it, can be well worth a craft. Now onto the troops. We'll start with the Mythics at the bottom. Astral Mother. 24 mana cost for this. This is quite a high mana cost for what seems like a little bit of a lackluster spell unless boosted. Removes all gems of a chosen colour with no effect. So you can just literally take them away and gain nothing from it. But sometimes if you take the correct gems away, you can create an extra turn from that and generate some mana. So it's not entirely useless. Deal magic based true scatter damage boosted by the gems removed. And that is it. So it's not that fantastic a spell. The traits are pretty decent though. 40% chance to give Reflect to a random ally when my turn begins. Reflect fires back 50% of incoming damage back to its caster. So that can actually be really good. One of my favourite things in the game is when an enemy dies from casting a spell on me and it pinging back loads of the damage to them and them dying from that. I do like that when it happens. Impervious was also really good. Immune to all status effects, Devour, Lycanthropy and Mana Burn. And allied centaurs gain 2 life is the first most basic trait and not much cop. Right, the Archduke deals magic based damage to an enemy and there's a percentage chance equal to his magic to destroy them. Just outright, you're dead, mate. If they die, summon a Lemure. The traits immune to Deathmark, reflect 25% of skull damage and gain 3 magic when my turn begins. None of them are that fantastic. Gain 3 magic when my turn begins is a little bit slow to make it effective. You kind of need to work this into a team to boost his magic to give it a reasonable chance of destroying the enemy, because otherwise that damage is just too low. And yeah, damned blade, damned Archduke, you need boosting, mate. And these are here all the time. Shahbanu Vespera. Do love Shahbanu. She's absolutely fantastic in troops that use mono colours. Like, for example, if you had her in a team which used just single blue, no other colours and things like that, you can cast it on them. You've got a massively high chance of getting a load of blue from that because of the way the spell works. And then you can actually boost everyone up really, really massively, create turn after turn, make everyone's skills go nuts out of control, and she is really good. Unlike Gargantor, should be Gargantor, he's absolutely rubbish. Sorry, mate, he's looks like he's been sick on himself, and it's probably because he saw his own spell and his own traits. And that's what happened. He's like, yeah, I'm absolutely shite, and he bathed all over himself. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by all allies and enemies killed. No, there is nothing else. That is literally it. It's like, okay, where's the rest? There is no rest. That is it. Yeah, he's impervious and gains 8 attack and magic when I take damage. So it does, that damage does go up. But he's got to get hit to do that, which is stupid. He's stupid. He looks stupid. Everything about him is stupid. Do not waste your diamonds crafting this idiot. My God. So, times 15 boost ratio. You have to have... If you kill 2 or 3 of the enemy, you're going to get a worthwhile boost on that. But at that point, you've practically won the game by the time it gets more powerful. Vice versa, if you've lost several of your troops and he gets a reasonable boost, he's still not doing tons of damage and the game is virtually lost anyway. It's like, what is the point of him? Get out of here, Muppet. Anyway, let's take a look at the legendaries. Talonbourne. See, this guy is like way better than Gargantor. Take a look at this. Legendary. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy, then entangles them and pulls them to the front. So you can have a sneaky little badger hiding at the back of the opposition team somewhere. Hit them with this. That's going to do damage to them, pull them to the front and entangle them. So even if there's skulls on there, they're going to be entangled and they're not going to be able to hit you. And as well as that, deal a triple skull damage to entangled enemies, which you've just entangled and pulled them to the front. As well as that, impervious. As well as that, reduce damage from skulls by 33%. That's awesome. That is a really good troop and absolutely fantastic in certain situations. These are other troops which are there all the time. Ankum. Deals damage to all enemies boosted by cursed enemies, and for every cursed enemy, give a barrier to a random ally. So not a bad damage to all troop. 25% chance to curse a random enemy when my turn begins. Can help its spell and is immune to a mana burn, mana drain and mana steal, which is really nice as well. So not bad at all. Garnok. He's not very nice. He looks ugly and he deals 1 true damage to all allies. Yes, you read that correctly. And then creates 7 red and 7 brown gems boosted by orc allies and has a summon at the same time. So also Orc Lord, really good. All orc allies start with 50% mana and gain 3 to all skills if in last position, which is a kind of hint that this troop should be in last place in your team, which is usually where it is best. So he goes around, gives all his mates a poke or stamps on their feet or something, giving them some minor damage, and then does his spell. But yeah, very, very good in the correct situation. Garnok, rather like a mini Iron Hawk in a way, the way it works. Creates 5 skulls, then explodes 10 skulls, but gains armor, which is actually surprisingly useful, providing you're not against a true damage team. Impervious and spiked armor are the best of the traits, but reduced damage from skulls is handy too, so not bad at all. And is that it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, so that is it. So like I say, for the first time now, I will go over the summoning stones briefly for the benefit of newer players. Some players do not realise you can actually preview these. They're all here. You can press the square button and you can take a look at what troops are in, or you're able to summon this week of each colour. And I'll just look at them really, really briefly. Like a giant crab deals damage to the first enemy and the last enemy, and then switches them round, so not too bad, can be useful. You can get these by spending the resources as it suggests in the beginning. Snow Sprite deals damage to an enemy and freezes them. Nothing fantastic. Saber-toothed Lion deals damage to an enemy, and if the enemy dies, gain 5 magic. Again, nothing fantastic. Slayer Ghost is pretty useful, to be honest. Deals damage to the weakest enemy and then transform all skulls to doom skulls. That can be pretty decent while being immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy and deathmark. Voldianoi deals damage to an enemy and deal triple damage if the enemy uses blue. So against a blue team, if you're a newer player, this can be really, really handy. Triple damage versus blue-based enemies. Icefire Shaman. Light splash damage to 2 random enemies boosted by blue allies and enemies. Nothing fantastic there. So, Mordain. Damage to an enemy, and if they are a tower, 3 times to 5 times damage based on my ascensions. And this is a siege breaker, so you get the benefits of that as well. You may pick these up. You can't pick these, by the way. It is a random thing when you choose to use one of these summoning stones. Merid. Damage to an enemy and inflict a random status effect. There's a 20% chance to gain a treasure map. Absolutely not very good at all. So that's the blue ones. The green ones. Should be some better ones in here, but yeah, nothing too fantastic. Nature-Borne Warden. Random based damage to a random enemy boosted by green gems and allies. So that's kind of so-so. Steal 2 armor from the last enemy and shift it to magic and deal some damage and gain an extra turn. So it's, yes, rubbish if you're a experienced player like I am now, but these kind of things are actually surprisingly handy when you're a newer player, because it also starts with 75% mana. So even though some of them sound bad to newer players or more experienced players, sorry, then some of them, I remember these being actually quite useful, some of these. Mecha Rat removes all brown gems, gains gold for each gem removed. And there's a chance equal to my gold to summon a Mecha Rat, so not too much cop there. Gargantaur, this is not too bad. It destroys a column. Give all the dragon allies a magic-based attack and armor, boosted by yellow gems destroyed. So you can gain some mana from that, gain attack and armor. Not too bad at all, providing you're in a dragon team. Setite Warrior. Give magic-based armor to an ally and then deal scatter damage equal to the ally's armor. So another good troop for boosting Rowan if you have her on your team. Can be handy indeed. Manticore, surprisingly good. The sign of a good troop in the game is when you see it on the other side and you think, oh god, I need to get rid of that straight away. That's really annoying, because that does happen. The thing's impervious, starts battles with 50% mana, stuns an enemy and drains their mana by 7 and gains 30 attack. So that can be an irritant. So if it's an irritant for you, it'll be an irritant for them. Finley scratching his face, wondering why he's in the team because all he wants is money. Transforms all skulls to gems of a chosen colour and gains gold. And Ruby Tressa. This is a siege breaker as well. Does extra damage to the towers. Steals 4 armor, shifts it to attack, deals damage to an hour boosted by your ascensions. Red ones, who's in here now? Anybody decent? Nothing amazing. Explodes 2 random gems and gains 40 to a random skill. So a bit random, everything's random there. You'll notice as well you get more of these early level troops as well. 3 of them, 2 of them, etc. Creeper deals damage to an enemy and diseases them. Yep. Deep Borer was useful to me for a long time in the game. Destroys a column, creates 9 brown gems and gains 31 armor. So that is really useful. So destroy a column, you can gain mana from that, and it creates 9 brown gems, which if you have other brown allies on your team, it can help charge them up. Envy deals magic-based damage to the 2 strongest enemies, boosted by enemies at full life or full mana. So, yeah. Spearmaster, destroy a column again, deal a damage, true damage this time, to the weakest enemy, boosted by red gems destroyed. So, I don't like the ones where it forces you to attack like a certain enemy, because the weakest enemy might have like 2 life left or something, and just like it's almost wasted, but it is what it is. Berserker deals 22 to 45 in my case. Damage to an enemy boosted by my missing life. Take 2 damage and gain 4 attack. So yeah, it's a bit of a wild spell, random damage boosted if you've been damaged yourself. Whatever. Sifu Yuan. Deal damage to an enemy, and if they're a tower, do more damage, because this is a siege breaker as well. So there it is. And enchant 2 random allies is pretty useful. Tank bot 2000. Steals armor from an enemy and deals true damage at the same time. Very good, this one. Remember, when you steal armor, you take it from them and give it to yourself. So the effect is basically doubled, and it deals true damage at the same time. So this one is really worth a roll of the dice. Pretty decent indeed. The yellow ones. Innkeeper. It's one of my favourite ones for just the not hidden meaning behind the spell, but the meaning which a lot of people may not notice. Gives attack to all other allies, but eliminates 1 magic. So he's basically given out all the beer. He doesn't drink because he's obviously the innkeeper. And in typical fashion, the more someone drinks a lot of the time, the more aggressive they get. So their attack goes up, but because they can't concentrate as well, their magic goes down. So I do like that one for the hidden, or not a hidden meaning, but if you just give it a little bit of thought, it's actually quite clever. Innkeeper. Troubadour. Do you want this thing on your team? Choose an ally. Create 10 gems of one of their mana colours. Can work okay. Piper. Deal true damage to an enemy based on your magic, and then steal 3 armor and shift it to a magic. Sand Scuttler. Gains a big chunk of life and armor, but only 1 cast, so not too fantastic. Cat Sith. Remove gems of a chosen colour, eliminate points based on your magic of a random skill from the last enemy, boosted by gems removed, steal 4 mana. Winged Bison. Transform all purple gems to red. 40% chance to summon a winged bison, boosted by the gems transformed. Therno. Create a mix of 3 green and red gems for each green ally and enemy. Tricknala. Inflict Hunter's Mark on the first enemy, then convert all green gems to skulls. Again, this is another really good troop. Starts battles with full mana as well. So, full mana start. If you can see you're going to convert green to skulls and get a match on that, or even better, a 4 match, you're going to put Hunter's Mark on them first, which means they get double damage from them skulls you're about to create. You can do some really good damage straight away with her. Very, very good indeed. And then the purple ones. Quasit. More of a nuisance than a useful thing, really. This is one of the ones which you can summon with various troops. Eliminates magic-based points of a random skill from an enemy. That is it. Skeleton. One of the most underrated troops in the game. Really worth having. If you don't have a skeleton, this is well worth a few goes of the summoning stone for this. Create 7 skulls, gain armor based on your magic, and then gain an extra turn. So if you don't get a match from them 7 skulls you create just by the fact that they appeared, you've got an extra turn to try and make a match of some. So that is really useful, especially in some purple based teams. And is immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy and deathmark as well, which is super useful. Dark Master deals damage to an enemy and summons a thrall. If the enemy dies, give 2 attack to all allies. Sirens, still see her in teams today, still really good. Start battles with full mana and deals damage to an enemy and create 9 gems of one of their mana colours. Draconian Rogue. Destroy gems in an X shape and then deal magic based damage to the last enemy boosted by purple gems destroyed. Drake Rider. Convert all yellow gems to red. Deal 36 splash damage to an enemy boosted by gems converted. That is magic based damage. It's 36 for me. Arimas deals damage to an enemy and etc, etc, etc. This is a Siege Breaker yet again. And Daughter of Ice, certainly worth getting as well. Start battles with full mana, converts red to blue and conjures an ice storm, which is blue. So that, oh no, there's one more. Got the brown ones to go yet. Let's check the brown ones. Rockworm, pretty handy actually. Deals damage to the last enemy. Really handy because quite often the last enemy is often stealthy, because that's why they're hiding in the back there and you can't target them. But this makes sure it hits the last enemy and then creates 7 brown gems, and because it uses brown it can actually charge itself up and then repeat the process. Leshy entangles all allies and enemies and destroys all green gems. So entangles everyone, is quite nifty, especially if you're immune to entangle yourself, which he is. Warlock. Remove all purple gems, deal damage to an enemy boosted by the gems removed. Shadow Beast. Damage to an enemy. If the enemy dies, inflict a random status effect on all enemies. Florian. Drains up to 12 mana from an enemy. Create green gems equal to the mana drain. So if you've got someone on 12 or above mana and you target them with that, you're going to drain all that mana and create 12 green gems, which can charge up the team. You've got to obviously have green allies in your team to benefit from that though, because she doesn't use green herself. Knight Captain barriers an ally and gives a certain amount of armor to them, and if the ally is a knight, give double the effect, so it works best in a knight team. Lord Ember. Transform a chosen mana color to red, then give all other allies 1 magic. That can be really, really good as well. Gain 3 to all skills if in first position. And Ragnargord, a really good mana generator, starts battles with 50% mana and explodes magic based amount of gems of a chosen color. And that's explode, so that is going to deal a lot of mana generation. So there it is. Now let's pick my mythic of the week. Who is it gonna be? I think it's gonna have to be Shahbanu Vespera. Do like her a lot. Really, really good in the right team. Not as fast as some teams, but some teams you want to be fast and sometimes you want to be guaranteed that you win. And if you get lucky with her spell, it can boost up the effects of the power and the stats of your team really, really quickly, and you can actually win surprisingly fast sometimes. So Shahbanu is my mythic of the week. I may do a couple of teams later on in the week to show her off. But there's the Soulforge review. Let me know in the comments if you thought the Summoning Stones preview was a good idea, or did it make it overly long? Because I can feel my voice going a bit funny already. This is already quite a long video. But there it is. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. But most of all, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.